Hi, this is Joe Alt, offensive tackle for the Chargers, and this is how I prepared for the NFL draft. I would describe the draft process as routine. And what I mean by that is I didn't have to leave my routine much. There was the combine and there was a couple 30 visits, but the most part, I was at home training like I was when I was in high school, practicing, getting better at football, running, lifting. So I would say it was the routine I knew and what I was comfortable with. I wasn't really focused on the NFL during my college career. People are like, oh, you're gonna declare during the season. I'm like, I'm not deciding that until I pick my helmet up off the field for the last time after the last game of my junior year. Declaring was a huge moment. The process for the combine, the actual combine, and then your team interviews are important, and then the actual draft.
With the 5th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Joe Alt, tackle, Notre Dame.
It was a little bit quicker than I was expecting. I decided, I think it was on a Monday or a Tuesday right after our last home game, or last regular season game, and yeah, that was the day. The first people I talked to with the decision, with declaring was my dad. That's always my go-to resource. He's been through the process. He played college football, got drafted, did all that, played in the NFL for 13 years. So my dad's my go-to resource. I'm extremely grateful for him and everything. He's been able to inspire me and give me the information that he's learned throughout his years. Combine training started for me early because I didn't play in the bowl game. It started in December. So I showed up first day and we got put to work. And I was like, oh boy. I thought I worked hard at Notre Dame. I'm tired. Is this what it's gonna be like every day? I think they were just trying to scare us into it because the first day was hard. But all of December, January, and February was all preparing for the combine. My daily routine was wake up at 6:25. My mom was gracious enough to be up and make me breakfast every morning. So I'd go up and talk to my mom for 10 minutes and eat breakfast before I left. Training began at 7:30. We started with a run, and that was either Mondays was working on 40 starts, and Tuesdays the L drill and pro agility, stuff like that. We would go and work on our football skill stuff. I worked with Alex Boone for that. We had a nice 2-hour break where we'd eat our pre-made meals, and I'd hang out with the guys and gain some really close friends in that little short amount of time, which was really cool. And then we'd finish with a lift, and then I'd finish up, head home, and see what my mom had planned for me for the rest of the day. I got the invite. I remember I was in the car for the combine, and it was late at night, and I saw this email. It was from the NFL or something like that. I was like, this is weird. And I remember opening. I was like, there's another part of that dream, the opportunity to go to the combine and stuff. I've been watching these guys run, and thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and now I get the opportunity to go do that. So it was a very exciting moment for me. I think I was with my mom in the car, so it was kind of fun for me and her to have that little time together. So at the combine, the first 2 days, I think I had 13 formal interviews. So I was doing a lot of that. The second day we had a meeting with the NFLPA to kind of discuss what the future is. And then the third and fourth day were mostly medical, third being going to the hospital and taking any x-rays or MRIs on injuries you've had. And then the fifth day was actually running and doing all the on-field stuff. Was able to go get dinner with my parents, and that was kind of a special moment for me. We've completed the majority of the combine, able to get dinner with them, which was really cool. And then the sixth day, it was just the morning, was just the bench, hopped on a plane, and was back home. Walking out of the Chargers formal interview was one of the coolest things. Coach Harbaugh kind of came up to me and really made me feel welcome right away. And he talked about how, he was obviously at Michigan, and he knew my name. He's like, I'm not going to make my mistake again by not, putting my time and effort into looking into who you are. And obviously it just turned out really great for me to be here and have this opportunity. We talked a lot of football, and that's what I feel like I'm comfortable doing. So we talked my tape, went through it, what I knew to get better at, what I'm good at, and what I should continue to be good at. So it was just a really, easygoing and, straightforward, interview on what they're expecting from me and, who I am. So it was great. My main goal is always kind of broad and big, and with the combine, it was put my best foot forward with any team or any person I meet. I think that's the most important thing. If that means you're on the field running and you're going to impress somebody who's watching, do that. If you're talking to someone, shake their hands, look them in the eyes, have a conversation, speak, as best you can. And then if it's the medical, be grateful, thankful, thank the medical staff for helping, answer any questions, be honest, things like that. I think when you're just true and you're yourself and you can put your best foot forward, it just makes everyone kind of get to know you better and makes it easier for that transition for whoever team picks you. My mindset going into the draft was I've put my best foot forward, I feel like, with every single team. I've done what I can at this point. I've played my 3 years of college. I'm going to try not to stress as much as I can because at the end of the day, it's not out of my control. Whoever picks me, I'm going to be super excited, grateful for the opportunity. Like I said, it's my dream come true. So I try to kind of just like leave it on the back of my mind. Like, I've done everything I can at this point. It's the week of. I just try to stay busy. Worked out in the morning like I normally do, got lunch, hung out with my family, and then it was like already 6 o'clock. I was heading over, to the draft. We had a venue for the draft and sitting down with my family and just, I remember just like kind of getting there and people starting to show up. I'm like, this is kind of the coolest thing, having all my family and friends there to support me for a dream I've had as a kid. Not their dream, but my dream, and they're here to support me. Like, that was awesome.
Hello?
Hello, is this Joe?
This is.
Hey, Joe, it's Joe Hortiz with the Chargers. How you doing, brother?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Got a question for you.
Yeah.
You think your dad will put on some powder blue?
I think you will.
Immediate butterflies. That was the first thing. I felt like I was gonna throw up. I remember that. I was like, oh my gosh, the phone's actually ringing and picking up, and hearing Joe Hortiz and then Coach Harbaugh. It's like, no way, that dream, and that's the next step into reality. Like, I can't believe it. So it was butterflies, it was excitement, it was gratitude. I mean, those are the ones that really stuck with me.